and welcome back. I'm so excited to be doing another canning video with y'all. So today we're going to be doing chicken and gravy. Right now what I've done is I've kind of chopped the chicken up into just little 1-inch cubes and filled the jars up about a third of the way full. I've also chopped up 3 onions, quite a bit of carrots, and then some celery. So what we're gonna do is put all the chicken in. I still have a few jars that I'm gonna put the remaining chicken in. I also have some of our little baby potatoes that we grew in the garden. So this recipe I'm gonna post below, but you can really kind of change it just a little the way you want. You could do more chicken, or if you don't have as much chicken, you could always do more potatoes. So this recipe is pretty versatile. So what I'm gonna do is just grab a handful of carrots and just place those in every jar. And this is one of my absolute favorite new recipes, just how many different ways you can use it. The way that we've really been enjoying is just to crack open the jar, pour it in a pot, and then whisk a couple tablespoons of flour in it and turn it into a gravy. And then we usually let that simmer just until it gets pretty thick. And then we serve it either over rice or over mashed potatoes. Another good way to do it is to thicken it up as well, and you could put biscuits on top and do like a chicken pot pie. And then this is also a really good recipe where you could just add more chicken broth to it and turn it into a soup. And then I'm gonna do the same thing with the celery and the onions. So what I've really been trying to do this year is just to try out some new recipes. And I found out that the ones that end up being my favorite are the ones that you can use in the most ways. Because there's always classics like the bourbon chicken and then the pot roast. We always love those and enjoy those. But then there's only a few ways to use them. Something like this is, you know, you'll be, well, I guess what I do is search Pinterest a lot and find new recipes. And this one ends up being the base for a lot of different recipes. So I think this will definitely be a useful tool to your pantry. And then this is something where if your family really doesn't like celery or doesn't like onions, there's always, you can leave those out. One thing that I thought about putting in here, but I might end up doing later is garlic. But I think I might just mince some garlic and put it in when I'm cooking it down. Just because I don't know how the flavor, when you can things, it's kind of, think about it like you're marinating it. You'll always get a more intense flavor at the end. So I think garlic might be something that I'm gonna consider putting in next time, but I'm definitely gonna put in at the end when I cook it. And then once you have these jars all loaded, we're going to pour some chicken broth over. First, I'm gonna cut up some of these little baby potatoes. If you buy them from the store, you really wanna make sure to cut the skins off, just because you don't know if they've been sprayed with anything or if they have anything on them. Since I grew these and we don't really mind the skins, I'm just gonna leave them. And I'll have to show you how pretty these jars look before they go in. This recipe is a raw pack. So when you cook the chicken, you will get some on the outside of or looking from the outside of the jar, you'll see some little like stringy bits, but that's really just the fat in the chicken cooked down. So it's nothing to worry about. It's just maybe not as pretty as like I was showing you What video was it? I think it was my pantry tour video. I showed you the difference between the chicken when it's been canned, when it's fully cooked, when it's been partially cooked, and then when it went in raw. So after I finish these potatoes, the only thing we have left is to add our chicken broth and then a teaspoon of salt to each jar. And then I'm going to go ahead and get all the air bubbles out and then wipe the rims. And then we're going to put it into the canner. Since I'm using quart jars, we're going to do 90 minutes. If you're using pint jars, you can go ahead with the 75 minutes. So I'm going to finish doing these potatoes and then we'll be back. Okay, so I finished filling up all our jars. All in all, we got about 10 jars. And this was, I used about 7 pounds of chicken breast. You can always use less chicken breast that I mentioned before. You can always do like more potatoes or more vegetables. That's kind of up to you. So I just have some Canyon salt. And I'm going to go ahead and add a teaspoon to each jar. In this recipe, it's very important to make sure you debubble, just because there's so many like different size chunks of different vegetables and chicken. There's a lot of air that can get trapped in them. And when you start debubbling, you'll kind of see that, see the air start escaping. So I have some of our homemade chicken broth. I do have a video where I made this. This is one of my favorite things to make. I've even done, I'll do turkey broth from the Thanksgiving turkey. I'll also do it, I did it with ribs one time. It worked out really well, so good. And it's just, it adds such a difference in flavor to your foods, and it's a lot less sodium than the normal chicken broth you'll buy at the store. Because personally, I don't put any salt in my chicken broth. I don't think it needs it. I think just the flavor is enough. And this one is so thick. It has the prettiest color. Okay, so I'm actually going to need a couple more quarts of chicken broth, but I'm going to go ahead and show this to you. I'm just going to debubble. And for this recipe, you want about 1 inch of headspace, which you'll see that's just about the very bottom rim of your jars. Then we're going to wipe the rims clean. And they're all ready to go in the canner. So I'm going to do the rest of these and process them at about, process them for 90 minutes. I'll go ahead and show you. It's just so pretty. Alright, so I'm going to finish these and then put them in the canner and then we'll be back. Okay, so I just pulled our last batch out of the canner. I'm going to let these sit for about 24 hours and then I'm going to take the tops off and clean the jars, and then they'll be ready to go on the shelf. I'm going to link the recipe that I used in the description box below. If y'all end up trying this or find some fun new ways to implement it, go ahead and post a recipe in the comment section and I'll go ahead and try it. Alright, well until next time.